Well, it's 7:30 in the morning. I already spent 20 bucks. My old cup went kaput, so I went and got a new one. This is the previous one was 20 ounces. This is only 16, but it's nice. It's all steel inside. So I'm doing my first trip in a pickup truck, Ford F-350. Just drop off some scaffolding. The guy says park it in front of the garage on the side of the garbage bin. There's like a huge, commercial garbage bin. I'm guessing they're doing renovations in there.
Turn left, then take the first left onto Sanderac Drive Northwest.
I stacked everything neatly, sent him a picture. He says, perfect, thank you. Another happy customer. So everybody today,
at the stop sign, turn left onto Sanderac Drive Northwest.
all three drivers today that we have, all are doing scaffolding to start the day. Okay, everybody has a stop sign. All right.
At the next light, turn right.
Yeah, today is gonna be a busy day. First off, they said it's gonna rain like hell after lunch, and the sky doesn't look good. It looks, yeah, it's gonna rain. I hope it's not gonna hail. And yesterday I dropped off my bike in a box, dropped it off at the bike shop downtown for assembly, because it's a single speed fixed gear bike.
At the light, turn right onto 14th Street Northwest. Then take a slight right turn onto Country Hills Boulevard Northwest.
I don't trust myself assembling it. If this was like an 18 speed, a race bike, I probably could have done it, but single speed fixed gear. Well, I'm joking, okay, I'm joking, but I hate those brakes. Like, I could, wheels are no problem, right? You tension the chain, attach the pedals, all that good stuff, but I don't want to deal with those brakes. I want the professionals to, set them up properly. And so in the back of my Jeep I have the bike carrier. Somehow it fit inside. I folded the rear two seats and the bike carrier.
Right lane to take a slight right turn onto Country Hills Boulevard Northwest.
The bike carrier fit inside. And so after work, they said, so yesterday was Thursday, today is Friday. The bike shop said it should be ready today. So after work, I'm gonna go pick up the bike, bring it home.
Stay in the left 3 lanes.
Have a quick supper.
In about 5.5 kilometers, turn left onto 14th Street Northeast.
And then I need to do some Uber, because my vacation is coming. I need to make some money. And then Saturday is gonna be an interesting day, because from 2:30 until 8, I think, I'm gonna be shooting a wedding 75 kilometers northwest of Calgary. Some kind of a special community hall that these guys rented. So I have to charge all my 4 batteries for the camera, for the 2 cameras, and 2 batteries for my flash. Then I have another special light which is very strong, can produce some nice effects, because these guys sent me like a sample that said, can we do something like this? And it's a couple kissing or like embracing, and the light is behind them and it's dark, and you cannot see the light because their bodies are hiding that, but it's like, it looks great when the light is behind the source of light is behind the subject. And they said, we want to do something like this. We have a very strong flashlight, and then I can use this little cube I have. So it's super intensive light, and it has like 5 or 6 positions you can change, make the light brighter or duller. when I didn't have a flash, I would attach that light on top of my camera, and I would just switch it on and off when I was taking pictures. It was really helpful, but it's a bit bright if it shines right into your face. And so if I can put it on a little tripod behind the couple, but yeah, it's gonna be fun. But again, it's gonna be raining, like you see. This is the weather, this is the sky, and this is early morning, so it should get really bad in the afternoon. I forgot, that's either 80 millimeters or 45 millimeters of rain. And my Durango keeps getting booked. Now I have another booking for middle of July, and this morning a guy says we're coming from Thunder Bay in August. We need a car. How does it work? How do we pick up? So I had to explain to him. Oh, and then another guy booked it from August 1st, like just for 2 or 3 days. Yeah, so basically Durango is doing good. It's pretty much pays for itself, so it doesn't cost me anything, and I can still enjoy driving it occasionally. It's a win-win. And the Jeep, I've been thinking about the Jeep. You know, when it comes time to sell it, like the left side, the driver's side doors only have maybe 2, maybe 3 dents. That's it. The worst damage is on the hood and the passenger side doors. And so I was thinking, you know, I can easily go to some place that sells used parts and grab a hood and 2 doors and take them to some shop and have them repainted to match my color, and that would change the appearance by 80%, you know. And then there's some damage on the roof, but it has those racks, you know, like for cargo racks. Basically I can remove those and throw them out, and that would just leave some dents on, I think it's like plastic or glass even, it's not even metal, but the side, like the side narrow panel at the very top above the windows, that one has some dents, but it's not that visible. So I think if I replace the hood and both doors on the passenger side, that would be great. So then I can still sell this Jeep, you know, when the time comes. I can still sell it for good money. And then on the left side, where I have like 2 dents, I can just go to a shop, and I know people do it, right? So it's pretty straightforward to pull those dents out. They're not that big. But yeah, I'm gonna drive the Jeep until the wheels fall off, because I was so much upside down because of that Hellcat disaster. But things are looking up. Well, my second run, I'm in a Freightliner, just doing 2 pickups. Pickup number 1, I picked up a big scissor lift, and now I'm heading south to the bottom of Calgary to pick up a tracked Stump grinder. A very cool machine. I delivered it I think yesterday. It's like a little tank, except it has that little attachment in the front, so it can grind, you know, whatever's left of a tree after you cut it down. And as you can see, it already started drizzling. So yeah, today is not gonna be good, and it's gonna get colder, Right now we are at plus 13 Celsius. It's just before 9 in the morning. Oh, this is the Stump grinder. Love this machine, you know, so tracks, and then the grinding thing is over here. This goes up and down. And it's just a small engine. And that's it. So the machine is loaded, and it's already 9:30. We're almost halfway to lunch. Time flies when you're having fun. Oh wait, so my PTO is off. Suspension, see, that's my suspension. So PTO is over there. That's on. See the sound? Hear the sound? That's off. And then suspension, you always try to drop the suspension when putting the bed down, so that it creates less of an angle. Otherwise, you know, especially when it's drizzling like this, even though the bed has a rubber compound applied to the top, it's still slippery, and so you want to keep that angle you know, as low as possible. Well, one trick I learned, which is actually originated during the World War II, is if I cannot make it up, let's say on a scissor lift, typically those guys are pretty bad because they have those racing slick tires with pretty much no you know, no markings on them, right? They're very slippery, and so if I cannot drive forward, what happens is if it starts slipping, I go down, I turn around, and I back the machine up the bed, you know. And especially with heavier machines, it makes a huge difference. It also helps when you are on top inside the basket, you know, then that adds weight. So yeah, I learned all these little tricks, but actually it was not me. I just was reading a book about this, about World War II, and how Russian drivers were delivering.
Turn right onto Auburn Bay Avenue Southeast.
They were delivering ammo.
Onto Auburn Bay Drive Southeast.
Sorry about that. This thing drives me nuts. They were delivering ammo on those little 5-ton trucks for the single axle, pretty much like this truck, except it was a, you know, military style truck, and they would have, you know, shells for the artillery units, right? And let's say it's winter or it's slippery, and they come to a hill, and and of course back then trucks did not have 4x4, so it was just, you know, regular rear wheel drive. Super cute lady is crossing the street while chewing a sandwich. Like, if she keeps eating like that, she's not gonna be pretty anymore. And so yeah, these guys, so they didn't have a 4x4, it was just rear wheel drive. And so what they learned is that if they cannot make it up the hill going forward, they would turn around and they would climb in reverse, and it always, for some reason, it worked. Because you know how the front wheel drive car is actually better in the snow, right? Because it pulls instead of pushes. And so I learned that, like, I don't know, 40 years ago when I was a kid, reading these books and dreaming. My dream was to be a trucker, a long haul trucker, or a railroad engineer, or a pilot, but anything in transportation. But yeah, so I couldn't become a pilot because of my vision on one eye. I couldn't become a railroad engineer for the same reason, but I did work as porter, or, you know, a railroad car attendant for 3 years. So that was cool. Speaking about slim and pretty ladies, when I was loading this machine, a super attractive female character came out of the adjoining house, and she had a bike, and she started attaching the bike to the bike area on her minivan. I think it was either Honda Pilot, no, like a minivan, you know, either Toyota or Honda. And I said, hey, that's gonna start pouring soon. And she says, oh, that's why I wanna do some biking before it gets worse. And so we started chatting about bikes. I said I just bought a single speed bike, you know. So yeah, lots of people do you know, biking here, cycling, bicycling. She was telling me about this trail she went on, like a Bow River near Deerfoot Trail. I never been there. I might try check it out. But yeah, still drizzling, not too bad, but not too good either. It's a sign of things to come. It's 45 clicks back to the yard. And it's 3 o'clock and I'm already leaving work. It's raining, but it's not too hard, but you know, like very annoying. But I did my last run. I picked up a 0-turn scissor lift and then a small scissor lift, just a regular scissor lift, but 0-turn, it's the one with the joystick that can actually spin on one spot. It's pretty popular for, you know, tight spaces. And as I was coming back, all of a sudden I see there's a bunch of cops like in the median, on the right side, left side. What's going on? Then I see a dump truck with the hood blown off.
Use the right lane to take a slight right turn
ambulances
to merge onto Highway 2 south-south.
Fire trucks or something serious. So basically the local road leading to our shop was blocked, so we had to go on a detour, go around.
Take a slight right turn.
And there was a guy with a camera, a guy with a big camera, so looked like a reporter, because he was not dressed in uniform. So I'm guessing it will be on the news tonight on Calgary TV. So basically the dump truck was coming out of the job site, turning right, and those guys are flying over there. They don't look, they don't stop, and another guy was coming towards him, turning left, so basically opposing directions, and somehow they could miss each other, and I'm guessing that's what happened, and somebody probably got...
In about 11 kilometers, take exit 256 onto Memorial Drive.
Yeah, somebody got really, you know, badly injured because of all the ambulances and the fire trucks. But yeah, first off, it's hard to see, you know, especially when there's a spray, right? Like look at the road. It's all water everywhere. I have my auto lights on, but they're not on. But in a situation like this, it's a good idea to have your lights on so that people can see you, you know. And I remember when I was driving a truck, my semi-truck, and I was still a rookie, and I was getting super nervous in large cities, you know, especially like Chicago, or probably Atlanta. It was the worst one. Atlanta, you know, speed limit 55 on the ring road, on the bypass. If you're doing less than 70, people are honking at you, you know. And I'm in a truck, right? So I drive like 57 miles per hour, and these guys are just flying by, honking, you know. Like. And so what I did when I was just getting started, quite often I would turn my lights on, you know, even during the day. If I'm going through a large city, I would turn my lights on, and then second thing I would do is I would buy some gum, right? So I would carry some gum, because chewing gum helps you relax, and it really works. So yeah, now I'm heading, I got a message from Bike and Brew saying that my bike is done, and will I please pick it up in the next 24 hours, as I quote, our shop is quite small, end of quote. And I said, hey, I'll pick it up in the next 2 hours. And actually, this is probably like 30 minutes after I got that text message. They didn't say anything about damage, so I hope nothing was damaged, because there were a couple of holes in the cardboard box that the bike came in. But I'm really excited to see this. The only problem is it's too big for this Jeep, right? I don't have my Durango, it's on rental, so I can only use the Jeep, and the bike is too big for the Jeep to go inside. So I'm bringing my my bike carrier, and so in this weather it means that the bike will be, you know, all wet. So maybe I'll ask the guys at the shop, maybe they'll have some kind of a, you know, cellophane in Russian, cellophane, some plastic to wrap around it, because I think actually in the box it probably had some kind of a wrapper around it. But yeah, because the thing is, all this stuff flies from the road, it's all dirt, right? So it's not just water from the sky. And so I put the bike in the back. By the time I reach home, it's gonna be covered in dirt, and it's 25 kilometers from the Bike and Brew to my place. So yeah, now we are passing McKnight Boulevard, and even though tomorrow I'm shooting a wedding, but it's only at 2:30, and it's 75 kilometers away, so I can leave at 1 o'clock and be there at 2, like a bit early, to check out the venue, as they call it, see the building, you know, check out the light. So I have time until 1, And so I want to do Uber. Like right now, I'm gonna come home, unload the bike, and set my all batteries to charge, because I have 4 batteries for my 2 cameras and 2 batteries for the flash. So 6 batteries, but I only have 1 charger for the flash and 1 charger for all these 4 batteries, because nowadays it's funny that when you buy a camera, they don't give you a charger anymore, so you're supposed to buy it separately. And so I didn't buy a second charger for my new Zeo Z5 Mark II, so I only have 1 charger. So it'll take a couple of hours. I just want to make sure, like, they're all charged, but I want to make sure that, you know, because they were sitting for a month, I didn't shoot anything, so I want to make sure that the batteries are at 100%, because it's going to be a 6-hour shoot, you know. So normally, I remember when I was doing the 4 hours at the Stampede breakfast, I probably after 4 hours, and I did a bunch of shots, probably like close to 1,000. When I was doing it for the first time, I got really excited by the opportunity, so I was just shooting, and they were really happy with the results. And I remember that I didn't have to change the batteries on my camera. So 1 battery lasted, well, no, maybe at the very end, like the last half an hour, I had to put in another battery, but 6 hours we should be good with 2 cameras and 4 batteries. Yes, I think it's getting worse. Yeah, I really need to find some kind of a plastic to cover the bike. And so the plan now is to load the bike, cover it somehow, and then take it home, unload, clean up the car a little bit, and start the Uber app, because usually weather like this is perfect for Uber. For some reason, people don't like standing at bus stops when it's raining. I don't know what the big deal is, but when it's raining and when it's snowing, people hate waiting. And usually that's the weak spot. You know, the weak spot is taking the bus to the transit station, because once you get to the transit station, to that LRT, you know, the train, you know, they are rock solid, right? They run as per schedule. But buses can be very unpredictable, and so many people would take Uber or Lyft when buses don't run very well, and I would just take them to a transit station. And today is what, 20th June 20. I cannot believe it that it's only 2 weeks until yours truly flies away into the distance, called United Kingdom. Man, I've been there once when I had a contract with Herbalife, and they invited me to UK for 3 days, all expenses paid for the hotel, paid for the flight, paid for the transportation. A guy picked me up in a fancy Ford Taurus. Back then, you know, Taurus was like pretty good. And this was a limo driver. And all they wanted me to do was
2 kilometers, take exit 256 onto Memorial Drive.
They wanted me to translate some literature for their Herbalife supplements, to translate them into Russian or double check the translation. So basically I was I was used as a translator, and I got to see England. You know, it's pretty cool. This was back when I lived in Moscow, Russia, and I was a real estate broker. And so this guy who hired me to be a translator, he was actually my customer on the real estate side, because they saw my ad in the Moscow Times, in an English language free newspaper that distributed in many, you know, Western company offices in Moscow. Well, at least back then. And so he saw my ad, and I showed him a few office spaces, and they settled on one. I think I made like 10,000 bucks. My commission was 1 year. No, it was 10%. No, wait a second. If it was, yeah, I think it was 10% of the annual rent. And so then this guy says, can you help us hire personnel? All right, so basically after I found them the office, they were using me for personnel, then they used me as a translator, so I made a lot of money with these guys. And then this guy invited me to California for a visit, so I spent a week in California in his home. Alright, so we made it to Memorial Drive. Now just 3 kilometers to Pike and Brew. And then, yeah, we're going home and unloading the bike.
Take the first right onto Memorial Drive Northeast.
And see if I can make at least like $100 with Uber and Lyft.
At the light.
Well, this is my new baby. I love this one, except the seat I was expecting it to be wider, because this is a custom seat. I upgraded the seat. But I love these handlebars, you know, like fancy. And the tires, man, they're designed for 85 psi. Have some super duper rims, you know. And of course this is just a single speed, but I did not even know this, that you can flip the wheel. So now it's on fixed gear, but here you have freewheeling. So all we have to do is just, if I get tired of riding this, but I don't know why would I want this, because I already have this, my second bike is like this, single speed, right? But this is a bit slower, like it is going to be slightly better on hills. So regular brakes, not like disc brakes like on my other bike. So I bought these. This was an upgrade, the straps and the water bottle. And I bought a phone holder. Not sure where it'll go, but I have the phone holder, and then the what do you call it? The bell is coming. But these bikes are supposed to be super durable, because there's no derailleurs, there's no gears. The most complicated thing are the brakes, and it's very light. I like it. So this was, after all these upgrades, it was about 800 bucks Canadian, whereas my super professional all city was 2,000. And this seems to be higher quality. It's more like a racing, you know, like a track bike. Love it. The only problem is it's raining. The guy at the shop gave me a couple of garbage bags, but I don't have any tie down, so I put my seat down like this, and I attach this because I have nowhere to put this, but I'll try to fit the bike in here somehow. Check this out, and it fit. So this is not pushing against anything, it's just if the wheel is between my seat and these seats. So basically it sits on the wheel, and on that should be okay. Wow, that's pretty good. But I'll keep this because otherwise I don't have any room. Wow, if I knew that this would fit, I would leave this at home. All right.